Hello, everybody. We are live, and I have a guest, but I'm going to give it a minute so we can catch up. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay. All right. I think we are up. So, hello. Good evening, everybody. My friend Liana is joining us for tonight.
Of Chapter 3
Yay.
podcast fame.
Oh, I know. You've been on a lot of episodes. Oh, we've got some people here. Hey, Beth. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Yay, refreshments. Awesome. Yeah, I probably should have grabbed something, but that's fine. Hello, how's everybody doing?
I try not to call you with mine. Ice cold, refreshing LaCroix.
Love it. So I kind of put out messages a bunch of places being like, hey, people, if you have any requests for book recommendations, let me know. And like people responded. I have a lot from different platforms. So we'll see what we can do. Yes, make lists. Hey, Rachel. Awesome. Okay. Well, I know you had a request. I didn't write down all the names, but I know which one you sent in, so we can do that. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is give suggestions of books for specific things people are looking for. I have stuff from Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and we'll just kind of like, and then Leanna, if you have anything you want, like, any suggestions. I have notes, but we kind of last minute decided to do this. So, okay. All right. So, Rachel, since you're here, let's start with your request, which was, please tell me that everything actually transferred over. Oh, here we go. Got it.
Not where this.
I know. I'm like, the problem when I like type notes on my phone and then hope that it will all show up on my computer, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but we're good. Okay, so a book with a character who has a healthy relationship with food, so like doesn't have an eating disorder, bonus points if it's body positive.
I have one, but you go right in.
No, if you have one, share. I've
Six of Crows. Surprise!
Yeah, I mean that's actually because Nina. That's actually I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's a good recommendation. Because Nina is like I love that this has a no worries. I love that it's got plus size representation. She's got a healthy relationship with food. It's not weird. It's great. Yes, so that's what we're doing there. Oh, cool. Nonfiction recommendations. I don't think we're doing any nonfiction tonight. So you will get all the fiction recommendations. But yeah, no, that's a good one for fantasy. I can find where I am. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, I think is a good one if you want more of a romance. Again, it's body positive. She's a chef. She's got a good relationship with food. There's no like weird.
That's the third one, right?
It's the third one. Yeah. So that one's good and has good stuff. Yes. People don't talk as much about it, but it's true. Yeah. Nina,
I feel like it depends. Like, I feel like I've seen, I mean, if you're listening to me, then all you're ever going to hear about is Cass Brecker. But I feel like a lot of people's favorite character from Six of Crows is Nina. And she's a plus size character.
Yeah. I mean, I love Nina. And I know when we did you were on for a discussion of the show on the podcast and we talked about it, that like my one quibble.
Are you sure?
Shocking. I know. But like my main quibble with Shadow and Bone is that they didn't cast a plus size actress. I mean, she's like average size, so at least she's not, I mean, which, but I do sort of wish they had fully gone with the representation, but yeah, so Act Your Age, Eve Brown was a recommendation, and then one that's a YA is Salty Bittersweet by Myra Cuevas, which is a coming of age story. It's like a YA contemporary coming of age story about a girl who's like wants to be a chef and she's training to be a chef. It's hard to think of stuff where it's like actively body positive or like actively showing healthy relationships with food. I feel like either it's like not addressed or it's negative sometimes. Like it's hard to find.
Nina is actively positive towards food.
Yes. Yeah. I also really liked Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. Not everybody loves it because she does have a history of disordered eating because her mom does. But I kind of liked like where she had gotten to in her journey with that. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. So that was that one. I feel like I should like delete things maybe as I talk about them, or like I really should have done this with like check marks so that I don't get lost on like what I've covered. People like had so many requests. Okay, let's do an Instagram one. Fantasy with ace representation.
Well, I guess this fantasy, Sawkill Girls.
Yes. Yeah, I would call it that.
Like,
it's
horror,
funny.
but like
it's like horror fantasy with some sci-fi elements. It's funny. I actually listed that for another question where people asked for Ace another rep in sci-fi books, and I put Sawkill Girls. But yeah, like that's got bi and ace rep. It's great. It's kind of a genre blend, so I think that's a good recommendation for everything.
It's just a good book. It's a good recommendation.
It's a great book.
Read it.
Yes, it's really good. Other things when I keep pushing on people like you, Leanna, I think I sent you like 2 copies of this or something, is Black Wings Beating by Alex London. I feel like
you sent me arcs of both Black Wings Beating and Red Skies Falling.
Yeah.
You sent me 2 identical copies of Rain and Ruin. And I was like, that's definitely not Ace.
No, that one is not. No, but Black Wings Beating is great. It's got ace representation and gay representation. Those are good. Yes, A Lot's Away. That is also. Why is that not? I don't know. I have it on another list for here, but yes, A Lot's Away is a good one.
I don't know I don't know what constitutes, does it positive? But I mean, Victor Vale and Vicious.
Yeah.
I regard that as positive because I like Victor, but I mean, it's not exactly a positive character.
I mean, that's okay. Dread Nation, that's a good, more in the sequel. Okay, cool. I haven't read the sequel, so that's good to know.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Selfless Divide is good.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That does have ace rep.
Yeah. I really loved Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland, which has a asexual biromantic lead, which I liked. And then I have one on here that I haven't actually read, but I know the author is ace, and I think it has that representation, is The Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso. She also wrote The Tethered Mage, although I don't know if that specifically has ace representation. But there's that. Okay. I should just like, I wish I could just like share all of this with you so you could see all the questions.
I think you can copy paste it into our private chat.
Yeah, I probably could. Maybe I'll do that. I have it like with all my recommendations, but then you can at least like see like all the things.
I get spoilers for what you think is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I can blurt it out before you do and pretend like it was my idea.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I don't know if it even all... Oh, it like did it as several comments. So there you go. I don't know if that all came through properly, but I tried.
It's a glorious paragraph.
Awesome. Yay, Beyond the Black Door. Awesome. Oh, cool. Yes, I've suggested it to people. It's a good one. Yeah. I love Wayward Children. That has just generally got a lot of good representation of everything. Murderbot. Yeah, not fantasy, but yeah, for sci-fi ace rep, Murderbot is a great recommendation. Yep. Okay. Let's go with what did I do? Okay, I think I'm just gonna like delete stuff as I go because that's gonna be easier. Okay, so let's do a Twitter one. Somebody requested books with characters who have jobs that aren't overdone. Examples of jobs they think are overdone are librarians, writers, journalists, detectives, royalty, archaeologist, nurse, and chef.
And
and assassins. Fair. So like books about people with jobs that are less common. So I think everything on my list is romance. So if you have anything different.
Wait, run by me again the list that is not permissible.
Librarian, writer, journalist, detective, royalty, archaeologist, nurse, and chef. I mean, can you put like first law in here for that?
Torturer?
Like,
yeah, that's
like
that wasn't
not
on
over you.
Glocta. You don't. I mean, honestly, you don't actually.
Mercenaries.
Yeah, torturer though is like even less common as like your POV.
True.
Like they exist, but they're usually like either the antagonist or the henchman of the antagonist.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
It was on their guide, like because in Blackwing, which you've read as well, his job is guiding people across the misery.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Blackwing by Ed McDonald, for anyone who's wondering. That's a good one for like post-apocalyptic kind of fantasy stuff. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, the roommate and intimacy experiment, porn stars. That's a good one. There you go. Okay, cool. Christina C. Jones apparently for romance has it. Dichronauts, if you want to drive yourself insane, main characters are surveyors. Okay. Nice. Like it.
There's only one series in which the main character's job is being a witcher.
Good point. Is it
technically
the Witcher? This is cool though. A female blacksmith lead. That sounds pretty amazing, Beth.
Was student on the prohibited list?
No.
Because Daughter of Smoke and Bone, she's an art student. That's
a good one. Yeah, I have Take a Hint, Danny Brown is a security guard and a PhD student by Shelley Hibbert. American Fairy Tale by Adriana Herrera. One of the characters is a social worker and the other one is a billionaire. I don't think he really has a job. I think he just owns stuff, which is like not
need an occupation and is independently wealthy.
Yeah. The Wedding Party by Jasmine Guillory is a personal stylist and a political aide. So those are some options. Okay. The Escape Room has investment bankers. Cemetery Boys are all brunettes. I mean, that's an occupation, especially new. I love it. Really? This is interesting. We Could Be Heroes as an Uber Eats driver, right? I did not know that. That's fascinating. Okay, so there you go. Those are some suggestions. I think the only other one I had was Family for Beginners by Sarah Morgan. The heroine is a florist. So, yeah, there's a few. Okay, let's do some more fantasy from YouTube. Feminist mythology recommendations other than Circe, which this person has already read.
She's the goat, so like there are other ones, but
Ariadne by Jennifer St just came out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet, so I cannot say.
I loved it. That was a good one.
Like I didn't particularly like it, but a lot of people did. Like the witch. It's basically like Circe but Norse. The witch's heart. The witch's heart.
Oh, okay. I haven't read that one. That's a good.
It's like Circe if Circe was about Loki's wife, and if it wasn't as good as Circe.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just interesting. Yeah, people are saying they have. Ariadne is really good. Definitely feminist. Really well done. It's like it's a really good one. Okay, so one that like because I went Greek mythology with this. If you guys want, yes, okay, this is what I was going to say. Thank you, Isabella. This Poison Heart.
This is the Norse one.
Nice. So that's cool. So this Poison Heart, I was going to suggest for Greek mythology. It's coming out later this month, and it's a contemporary fantasy, but it uses Greek mythology as like a main part of the story. So that might be a good option.
But isn't Gods of Jade and Shadow also?
Yeah, mythology. That's a good one. Yeah, and I actually, the latest podcast episode is all about mythology and retelling. So for people who want lots of suggestions, go check out that podcast episode. Do you have anything? I'm trying to think. I mean, there's like a lot of other mythologies too, but
it's usually going to be Greek or Norse.
Yeah. Let's see. 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes.
I have bought that recently, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
The cover is really pretty.
As these usually are, yeah. Daughter of Sparta just came out. Okay.
Wait, did it have to be... It had to be feminist, right? Because, I mean, Stephen Fry is retelling all the Greek stuff.
Right, yeah, but this was specifically feminist. Yeah. So...
Not that Stephen Fry is not a feminist, but I think he's just doing all of the mythology.
Right. It's not like specifically feminist. Fair. I think that's good. There's plenty of like other stuff. Okay.
Well, what's the line between folklore and mythology? Because I mean, Deathless, the Winter Night trilogy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Russian folklore figures.
That's a good point. And I would say like anything by Tasha Suri has like her latest. I just finished reading Jasmine Throne, which by the way, Leanna, you should. It's so good. It's so good. Best fantasy I've read this year. So it's really good. But
you also said that about Court of Silver Flames.
Yeah. Okay, but that's fantasy romance. That's like a different thing. This is like fantasy. Like it has a romantic subplot, but like it's like a fantasy, multi POV, politics, stuff like that. But it's really good, and it's inspired by Indian mythology and epics, which is cool. Which actually is my my big recommendation for the next Instagram question, which was for epic fantasy with an amazing romantic subplot. Anything Tasha Suri. So
Sword of Truth by Terry Goodkind.
Sword of Truth by Terry Goodkind. I love it. Yes, it's good. Okay, a Hades and Persephone series. Sure. Interesting. World Entire. Huh. I don't know about that one. Medusa, not me. Okay. Huh. Cool. Yeah, Medusa retelling could be interesting. Priory and the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon is another one that's epic fantasy with a good romantic subplot. Do you have any other? I'm trying to think if I have other stuff that's like.
I mean, Mistborn has a romantic subplot.
Cool. Okay. I haven't read enough of those to.
Oh, you only read Era 2, huh?
I read the first book of Era 2, and then I read the first book of Era 1, and that's all I've read.
Okay.
Because I
like
when I well, I know. So this is what happened. I found the first book in Era 2 in the bookstore right after it came out, and I read it, and there were no more books out yet. And I was like, this is great, but there's no more. Oh, there's a prequel series. So then I went back and I was like, this is not the same thing. So then I never continued with it.
Did it have to be adult fantasy?
No.
Because I mean, a lot of YA.
Yeah, a lot of YA does. Okay, Where Dreams Descend has it. Yeah, I mean, that's got a lot of romance. I wouldn't call that epic fantasy though. Like that's more heavily romance, but it is, yeah. But yeah. I mean, the Witchland series has some romantic subplots.
Strange the Dreamer, I would say, is epic
Strange
fantasy.
the Dreamer.
Subplot.
Yeah.
More than a subplot.
Yeah, no, that's a good recommendation. That's the hard part is I was like trying to think of like, okay, epic fantasy that has it is a little trickier sometimes. But yeah.
I mean, Name of the Wind definitely has a strong romantic subplot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the Kingkiller Chronicle in general.
I would agree. Yeah. If we ever get a book 3. Maybe one day. Cool. Okay, let's go back to Twitter. Okay, books where being queer is just a part of life, not extraordinary. So like life after coming out, where it's not a coming out story. The first thing that came in,
just books in general or fantasy?
Books in general. Yeah. The first thing that came to mind for me is a rom-com that I really liked, which was Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So it's like a gay romantic comedy by a gay man, and I thought it was very funny. Like the lead is kind of a hot mess, but has been openly gay publicly in the tabloids. Six of Crows. Good.
It's always relevant.
Yeah. We're the Ants in Space Between Worlds. Yes. Yeah. Space Between Worlds is a good one. I think I have that on here for something else too, somewhere. We'll get there. Yeah. Boyfriend Material is hilarious. It's hilarious. It made me laugh. It was good. Oh yeah. This is good for like the epic fantasy with a romantic subplot. Yeah. Ember in the Ashes. That's a good recommendation for that. Yeah. In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland has that also. People who are like queer and out about it, that like coming out is not part of the plot. It's like a dark.
Cassandra Clare books have a lot of that, don't they?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, later on. Yeah, I think it's like some of her later stuff. Some of her earlier stuff had more like coming out stories, but I think like the series she's writing right now, for instance, like Chain of Gold has kind of a lady rake character who's.
But what's that one guy who's like
Magnus Bane?
That guy. Magnus Bane.
Yeah.
He's around.
He is around. He's good. Yeah. Kaylin Barron's books and Beyond the Ruby Veil. Yes, all true. Where like, yep, those are good. What else do I have in here? Oh, Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. Like nobody really cares in that society, like who's with who and what you're into. So it doesn't really matter. So there's no like coming out there. So, I have like a lot on the list for this actually.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think it's coming out in The Midnight Lie by Mary Rutkowski.
Oh yeah. Kind of. Well, that one they're in like a homophobic society, so there's more like danger surrounding it. Yeah.
I just remember like her showing up and being immediately
she is, but the other girl feels like she can't because of But yeah, Winter's Orbit, yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. Interesting. So Mercedes Lackey's Last Herald Mage trilogy.
Also, the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin.
Yes. Always N.K. Jemisin. Like, she is always a good choice. Absolutely. Oh, cool. I'll Be the One by Lila Lee, plus size main character, and love interest is by as well. Awesome. Sounds great. Okay, what else did I have on my list for this? Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbin. If you want another like own voices male romance that's pretty cute. They're not coming out in that. The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper is a YA queer romance that's not about coming out. Okay, Bea and Anna Kay as well. She's not a POV until the second book. Okay, cool. Yeah, Winter's Orbit. Everyone keeps mentioning. Yeah, Winter's Orbit for sure. Oh yeah, Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Also a good recommendation. I feel like there's you know what? I think it's one of those things where sci-fi fantasy, sometimes it can be easier to get this because you can create a world where it doesn't matter. And so then coming out isn't really like a thing.
So the later Red Rising, I mean, like Red Rising was always that way, but like there's like main characters in Red Rising in the new books.
That I still need to read. No, I still need to.
One of the POV characters is queer.
Cool. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Maybe now you'll read it.
I want to read it. It's on my like list of things to read this year. So I know I want to. Okay, the other one I have is Six Angry Girls by Adrienne Kistner. It's like a YA contemporary, kind of feminist contemporary that I liked that has like openly queer characters, which was good. Okay, you could make an argument for The Left Hand of Darkness. I have not read this, so I don't know, but okay. Murderbot, yes. Murderbot can be the answer to everything. Okay, cool. I think that's like what I have. So maybe we'll move on if other people have other suggestions for you to. Okay. This could be a long answer for the next question from YouTube. Black. Oh yeah, I haven't read these yet, but I want to. Black Tides of Heaven by Neon Yang. Yes. Yeah, that's they have both genders, ambisexual. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, next question is for fantasy that is not Western or inspired by non-Western cultures.
N.K. Jemisin.
N.K. Jemisin. Yes. Anything N.K. Jemisin, pretty much, other than like The City We Became, I guess. But like, yeah. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse is inspired by the pre-Columbian Americas, which is fantastic. Really good.
Poppy War. Yeah.
Poppy War. Mm-hmm. That's good. Tasha Suri's books, The Jasmine Throne. Seriously,
do you like that?
I just finished it, so I'm kind of obsessed with it right now. I'm like, it's really, really good. The Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty is inspired by like Middle Eastern and South Asian mythology.
Reign and Ruin is inspired by Middle Eastern, or has a Middle Eastern setting.
Yeah. Raybearer by Jordan E. Fuego is like African inspired. Akeda Witch by Nydia Okorafor is also African inspired, kind of.
I didn't love it, but Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter.
Yeah, which I liked that one. That's a good. Oh, okay, we have people on here.
You read Rage of Dragons?
I did for a vlog.
When did that happen?
A couple months ago.
How did we miss that?
Yeah, I did. I liked it. Sort of Kagan. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
The Wolf of Oroñaro.
Oh yeah, that's like on my TBR. I need to read that one. Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Three Body Problem. That's not our first. Yeah, but it's sci-fi. But yeah. Dejin and Cairo, also great. Akeda Witch. Yeah, I liked Akeda Witch. It's like Nigerian inspired fantasy. What else? Forest of a Thousand Lanterns.
I still haven't read it.
Chinese.
Read Black Leopard, Red Wolf, isn't that?
Yeah, African inspired by yeah, that's a good one.
Marlon James?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Fireheart Tiger is good. Okay, cool. Palace of Illusions. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff. I think to YA right now, there's a lot of stuff coming out.
I mean, I would read diversely if there was any such option. There just isn't. So, I mean, what am I to do? That was sarcasm.
Oh man. Well, like one of my next pick for Blades and Bodice Rippers book club, The Unbroken by C.L. Taylor, is queer and I think North African inspired.
Yeah, I just saw Angela's review on Literature Science Alliance, and she was like, this is her favorite book of the year. That's so I was great. Like, oh, that bodes well.
Looking forward to that. Yeah. And then one I want to read too is, what is it? There's like one that just came out that I bought a copy of. Oh, Son of the Storm by Sui Davies Okungbowa. Another one that I think is like an African inspired fantasy that just came out. It's a debut and it looks good. Apparently has like politics and stuff, which I'm always a fan of. So yeah, there's lots and lots of not Western inspired fantasy. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think Beth is in the chat and asked about this one. Fantasy with a murder mystery, especially if it's a serial killer. So A Lot's Away, which I think, Beth, you've already read probably, but A Lot's Away by Darcy Little Badger is a fantasy with a murder mystery.
The second book, I mean, that is to say the sequel to The Wolf, so The Spider.
Oh, okay.
That has a whole like murder investigation, assassination investigation.
So that's fun. I didn't know that.
Maybe you should read it.
Maybe I should. A Dead Gin in Cairo and A Master of Gin by P. Jelly Clark. His like murder mystery, supernatural investigations, which is good.
The 7 Deaths of Evil in Hardcastle.
Yeah. Yeah, Crescent City. Oh, that's true. Crescent City does kind of surround a murder mystery. I'd forgotten about that. That's a good point.
I know you didn't like this one, but I liked Four Dead Queens.
I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like.
That's a close circle.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's kind of a fun one. Spin the Dawn is a good for like a non-Western inspired fantasy. That's a good one. Upcoming Witness for the Dead.
By Catherine.
Which actually, and The Goblin Emperor, which I just started reading, also actually has a murder mystery in it. So, yeah, or assassination rather. Yes, Magic Bites series by Alona Andrews. I should have that. That's a good, definitely. The Conductors by Nicole Glover has like a murder mystery investigation thing, and then one that's not actually fantasy but kind of a fantasy sci-fi blend is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. It's also a murder mystery. It's, you either will love it or hate it, and you can tell which sides we are on. It's a strong flavor of book, but
it's a strong flavor of everything. Yeah.
I really loved it though. A Memory Called Empire. Oh yeah, I mean sci-fi, but yeah, that's got murder mystery in it as well. It's good.
The Lie Tree by Frances Harding.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard of her.
Hardinge. I never know how to say her name.
Yeah. I don't know if I could think of anything that has a serial killer in it. Like
Sawkill Girls?
What?
Sawkill Girls.
Oh yeah, Sawkill Girls. Serial killer murder mystery with fantasy elements. There you go.
Also, I mean, I don't know. I mean, horror kind of is horror isn't always fantasy, right? So like this is technically
not
horror,
always,
but it's very much fantasy horror. Nosferatu by Joe Hill.
Oh, okay. That's like one I haven't read, but I'm interested.
He's definitely a serial killer.
Good to know. For non-Western fantasy, The Djinn Falls in Love is an anthology of short stories about djinn. Oh, that's cool. Oh, good. I'm glad you already have some. Yeah, Ninth House is fantasy, and true, does have a murder mystery as well, and like a serial killer. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some fantasy. That's funny. Unnatural Magic is a serial killer killing trolls. Interesting.
Well then.
Oh yeah, this is a very good point. The Side Changeling does have serial killers and lots of murder mysteries. True. There's a lot of crossover here. Okay. Cool. So there you go. We have lots of fantasy with murder.
So there's a lot of killing in fantasy, but like murder less often. But
yes.
Usually, like we don't regard it as murder. It's just like, yeah, people kill each other. We don't need to investigate this. Like,
yeah, okay. I did DNF it, but yes, The Dark and Hollow Star. Other people seem to be enjoying it much more than I did. So, there you go. Okay. Twitter question request for books about being lost in space or stranded in space. Okay, so I'll go.
But I was gonna say, like, would the whole book need to be about that? Because that would be a pretty boring book if the whole book is just being.
Not necessarily. I mean, I have read some that are mostly that are more thrillers. So, like, my first thought on this was Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James, which is kind of a stranded in space thriller. but I don't think it has to be all that. Oh, okay, interesting. Project Hail Mary. Okay, cool. I haven't read that one. If you want to take that trope and make it steamy and trending on TikTok, you could try the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon. It does include being stranded in space, sort of on like a ice planet. So, these broken stars, kind of. Okay. Megan, a murder in Project Hail Mary? What? Oh, someone's like, besides Andy Weir. Yeah. My other suggestion for this was To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. Kind of has that. Like, it's not exactly, but it has some of those elements. Oh, for Stranded in Space. I thought it was first, you were saying Project Hail Mary for Stranded in Space. Yeah. Yeah. Really good thriller books with small. Yes, The Ivies is great. And you know what? She just said it's going into a second printing already, which is really exciting.
My pre-order came in, but I haven't read it yet.
It's fun. I like it. The YA campus novels have been crushing it. Oh, Ace of Spades is so good. Okay, you should also read Ace of Spades, Leanne. It's really good. Yeah.
Is this video
really
actually good. Book recommendations from you to me? Is that what's happening?
It's like my secret plot of getting you onto a live stream so I can push books on you.
Well, experience to tell you that I will push right back. Here's your reading list.
Not surprised. Hey, we got through all the Twitter questions. Yay. That's pretty good. That's true. The first Murderbot novella kind of has that. And actually, so does the full-length novel has a little bit of that, the Stranded in Space thing.
I was saying, usually Stranded in Space things, that's stuff that I watch. I almost never read anything like that. So like I can think of shows that do that, but I'm like, I don't ever read that.
Yeah. I do want to read this. Oh, okay. Someone's asking, can you think of another thriller that has subtly dropped clues throughout the book?
I mean, don't most thrillers at least like aim to do that? Maybe they fail.
Yeah, I think so. Like Riley Sager does that in his books. Yeah, I feel like most good thrillers do a decent job of that. But yeah. Death's End by Cixin Liu. Okay, cool. Person Stranded in Space. I mean, either one, Beth. Either one. Same. Look, same. That's fine. Oh, the girls are all so nice here. Okay, cool. All right. Let's do another YouTube request. Oh, I have like a bunch on this one, but sci-fi with bisexual, ace, or demisexual rep. So, I think we already mentioned Socko Girls a couple times, which again has bisexual and ace rep.
And I would tend to put Socko in horror or fantasy, not sci-fi.
But it has like some sci-fi elements, like at the end.
It's mostly fantasy and horror.
I know, but it's
a real stretch to call that sci-fi.
It's a little bit of a stretch, but I still wanted to put it on here because it's great. Okay. Yeah, this is a good question. I'm going to try, you know what? We'll take some more questions from people. I do want to try to get to the ones that we've got sent in from social media, and then we can try to see if we can get to if other people have other things that they want to do. Okay, cool. Closed in Common Orbit has bisexual rep. Awesome. Cool. Stranded Colony, The Wizard in Spite of Himself with Humor. Okay, cool. Wilder Girls. Oh, for sci-fi. Yeah. I haven't read that one, so I don't know specifically what it has.
I have, yeah. And I didn't love it. It does have that rep, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Fair enough.
Yes. So Wilder Girls, I feel like was like pitched as being similar to Sawkill Girls, and I was like, yeah, except Sawkill Girls was good.
Oh no.
But a lot of people like Wilder Girls, and I love the cover for Wilder Girls. I wanted to like it so bad.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Space Between Worlds is actually on my list. That's a good one. By Micaiah Johnson. It has bi rep. That's a good sci-fi pick. Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow has demisexual rep, which is not easy to find, especially in speculative fiction. So that might be a good one. Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott has bi rep. I wish more people would read it. It's really good. It's like a gender flipped Alexander the Great in space. It's very fun. Good. Okay. Machine's Last Testament. Awesome. One Last Stop. Oh, is a romance with light sci-fi elements and bi rep. Cool. Sound of Stars is fun. Yeah. Oh, okay. Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant is kind of like a horror, sci-fi horror that has bi rep in it. And An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon has ace rep in it, and it's sci-fi. Those were the ones I could think of.
I just don't read very much sci-fi.
Oh, I haven't read this one. That's okay. I think mostly fan. That's okay. This is why I was like, before I got on here, I was like, let me look through my Goodreads list and come up
the
with
sci-fi that I do read is like space operas, like Red Rising.
Yeah. Fair. Yay, Sound of Stars. I love it. Okay. All right, I got a request, and like I had for most of these questions, I mostly tried to come up with stuff where like I actually have read the books, but sometimes I couldn't totally do that. So gay Arthur and Merlin fantasy with romance was the request.
I haven't read it, but Once in Future, I think, is that.
Yeah. That was kind of my suggestion. Once in Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy, which is like a YA sci-fi take on that, which I think is kind of it. My other recommendation that's not exactly this, but it has some of those vibes that you might be looking for if you want something more historical feeling, is Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh, which
that.
So it's
like queer Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, exactly. But it's like in the UK and the woods. So if you want something more with that historical vibe, that might be something. Do you have anything that would be like? I couldn't think of anything else that would be like a good.
So the actual request was for an Arthurian thing, but like
yes,
something,
but make it gay.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very specific.
Yeah. I was like, so basically, they just want like Merlin / fiction.
I mean, I guess. I mean, you could just look up fanfic. I'm sure there's somebody written.
There's so much fanfic of Merlin. I mean, the show Merlin.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I also saw because I did a quick Google search. You can also get like Kindle erotica that is this sort of stuff. So like,
I have no doubt
there if you want that sort of thing. But I was trying to think of like, are there other kinds of books I've read that have that vibe? And that was all I could kind of come up with. Well, hopefully that helps. Okay. All right. Sci-fi or fantasy? Oh, were you going to say something?
I was going to say someone said Legendborn. You read that. I haven't read that.
Yeah. It does have art take from Arthurian stuff and has some queer side characters. I don't know that this is necessarily what they're going for, but yeah, like I do like it. It's a good book. And it does have like some of those elements. Let's see. Okay, Luck in the Shadows is a good fantasy with 2 gay main characters. Somebody said so much Merlin fanfic. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
My roommates were obsessed with Merlin, so I was like, by osmosis, heavily exposed to this.
That's funny. Okay, so we had a request for sci-fi or fantasy with good fat representation.
Wait, did we not already cover that?
No. We had books with characters with a good relationship with food. like that don't have eating disorders basically, but like but yeah, I mean, we did kind of touch on things that could also count for this, but like specifically just good fat representation. For that, I was trying to think of like things specifically where it's like their relationship with food, but Wayward Witch by Zoraida Cordova. The main character is fat. I think that's like done well. I think this was the thing. It was like with a main character who's fat, basically. Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, which we already mentioned, has that. The Stars We Steal by Alexa Dunn has a fat main character. And then for a like novella, if you want some like Ruby Dixon, When She's Ready by Ruby Dixon, which is part of her Risdiverse series. So these are more like erotic romance novellas. That one has a fat heroine and it's done pretty well.
Female only?
No.
Because it's Jean in The Gentleman Bastards.
Oh, I had forgotten about that. Awesome. Gentleman Bastard series. So Lies of Locke Lamora is the first book in that series. Sound of Stars. Okay. Yes. Sound of Stars can, which is why I think I put it on there. So yeah, sorry. Oh, no worries. Hi, thanks for stopping by. And then my other one was, which you were not a fan of, but American Hippo by Sarah Gailey has a fat character in it as well. I know you didn't like it, but I really like it. So I don't know if you have anything else. I'm trying to think. I mean, Six of Crows we mentioned earlier. I don't know. Those were the ones I could think of.
Yeah, Six of Crows and Gentleman Bastards go-to recommendations there for all purposes. They have all of the things.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we need more of them. Does she? I'm trying to think. Well, yeah, actually, City We Became. Yeah.
City We Became. Even, I mean, not the main character, but some of the main-ish characters in Broken Earth.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read that, so I don't like specifically recall that element of it. But yeah, awesome. And I know definitely The City We Became has like some of the characters are fat, and so that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know that I would call this good representation. I mean, you're not wrong, but like he is a villain, so I think that's probably a good example.
Cartoonishly,
of, like,
so.
Yeah. It's funny because I actually think that's like a good example of like how not to do fat representation.
When I read Dune, I was like, "Are you kidding me with this?"
But I mean, it is sci-fi with a fat character, so there's that. But yeah, it's not the best rep. Oh, I don't remember from this being the case. That's interesting. Sometimes I think it's just like really mild, like where you can't always, like it's not always really obvious.
Well, it's also, I mean, so like with these requests, like sometimes the story is about that more actively, and sometimes it's like, I mean, sort of like the one of the things that I often praise Six of Crows for is the fact that like the characters have their various backgrounds, issues, struggles, identities, etc. But at no point is that like the focal point of the story. It's just, this about them. So like one of them has a gambling addiction, and like two of them are queer, and one of them is, plus size. But like the story isn't about any of those things. Like you just know about them.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is true. I had forgotten about this. This is Tamora Pierce is always a good recommendation. Yeah, one of the main characters in the Circle of Magic series is also fat.
I haven't read it, but isn't Graceling about a plus size main character?
I don't know. I haven't read it either. It's one of those ones that I feel like everybody's read and somehow never did. Oh, somebody's saying, yeah, Triss. Oh yeah, Triss from this is the Circle of Magic series. Yes. Yeah, Triss is great. Okay. Others like Wrong and Rage. Yeah, so if you go back and listen to some of the stuff with the fantasy romance is probably going to give you a little bit of this. Someone saying not Graceling. Okay.
I haven't read it. I just thought that.
That's cool. Oh, actually, the Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, one of the main characters is like Persian and plus size in the new Cassie Clare series. So
Cool.
yeah. Okay. Okay. On a similar note, on Instagram, someone asked for thrillers or horror with a fat main character.
I don't read any thrillers or horror of any kind at all.
Yeah, so this was a little harder to figure out. Like a couple of ones I wrote down are coming out this year that I haven't actually read yet. But one that does have some of it is Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. It's a short story collection, but there is some fat representation in some of the stories. And one that I think might be, but I'm not totally sure. So in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think maybe Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, which is like a mystery, like a YA mystery thing. I think she might be plus size if I'm not mistaken. I think that might be a thing, but I'm not totally sure. Yeah. And then the two that I haven't read that are coming out for this are Eat Your Heart Out by Kelly DeVos or DeVoe, I don't know, but it's a YA zombie horror comedy with a fat main character.
Zombies, I'm out.
Yeah. But it meets the request. And then the other one is in a dark. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say the one other one that I found was In a Dark and Starless Forest by Sarah Hollowell, which is like a dark fantasy horror that's coming out later this year. So
I haven't read it yet. I've been meaning to, but
cool.
I think Broken Things by Lauren Oliver has a plus size main character.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
which again I haven't read, so maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think that's the case.
Oh, this is interesting. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, but there's losing weight diet aspects, not necessarily positive. Okay, good to know. Oh yeah, Undead Girl Gang. Yeah, that's a good recommendation. YA and horror-ish with, yep, good. Hyperion sci-fi with heavy horror. Okay, cool. The Ivies. Yeah, the Ivies could count. She's kind of like tall and plus size, the main character. That's a good suggestion. Yes, Hyperion. I think I read the first book a long time ago and it was really interesting. Okay. Do you have any, I don't know if you have any other like thoughts. I couldn't think of anything else. Like that was actually really hard to come up with. I feel like a lot of the thrillers
I haven't read yet that I think has it.
Okay. Which one? What?
Oh, it's Broken Things.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Yeah. I have one and I haven't even read it.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we've got there. Point being that apparently we need more thrillers and horror with fat main characters. So
or they exist. I just never read thrillers. So I don't even know. Actually, I don't know how it's not in what's it called? Nosferatu by Joe Hill. The husband, the love interest of the main character, he's plus size, but like it's not I don't know. I would hesitate to call it positive. It's not outright negative, but it's a horror book, so everything is described. You know how like Joe Abercrombie's scenes are like not pleasant? So like everything in the book is described unpleasantly, and that's just like one of, it's not like he's singled out. Everything is described unpleasantly, including like the like skinny main character is described unpleasantly. But so it's equal opportunity.
Fair. So yeah, I think I've read a lot of like adult thrillers where you have a main character with like disordered eating where they're like kind of anorexic. I don't know why that's a thing, but at least for a while that was like a thing in a lot of adult thrillers. It's like a way of being dark, I guess. I don't know. Okay.
So there's like a frequent depiction in Hollywood of like the person who's like scared and anxious and too anxious to eat, and like they're not sleeping, and so they have like the hollowed out cheeks because they're like on edge. And so I feel like those two things, like if you're gonna have like an eating problem with a high tension situation, it's always the not eating because you're too scared to eat, like is the thing.
Yeah. So they're always just like downing, antidepressants and smoking cigarettes or something.
Or like you have like things like The Machinist with Christian Bale, where like, I mean, it is scary, like when how he looks, because I mean, he lost like an insane amount of weight to be in that, to look like that in the movie.
It's like, that's not good for your body, but it's commitment. Okay, let us know if you think of the title. Awesome. Okay. Feminist books or series about overthrowing a corrupt government.
Kind of The Diabolic.
Okay.
By S.J. Kincaid.
Okay. You know what? It's just like sitting over there and I keep mentioning this book, so I'm just going to get it. Hold on.
Hey, everybody. It's just me now. And then there was one. She's back.
The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Sir.
I've been hearing good things about that.
For me tonight. But yeah, this one is really, it's good for everything, guys. It's queer and it's got feminist stuff and people overthrowing corrupt governments. So it's
arguably Mistborn.
Okay.
Because Vin is the main character, and it is about overthrowing the Lord Ruler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So she thought of this one, Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding, a mystery thriller or thriller horror or something with that main character. Cool. Awesome. Caliban's War. Okay. Awesome.
Isn't that one of the books in the Expanse series, Caliban's War?
I think so, but I think they are trying to overthrow corrupt governments. I haven't read the books, but I've seen some of the show.
But I mean, like, that's like a later, like the first book is Leviathan Waits. I think Caliban's War is a later book in that series. I might be wrong about that. Oh yeah,
book two of the Expanse, one of the best feminist representations. Okay, hey, that's great. Awesome. Shadows Between Us a little bit. Graceling, okay. I also put like Furyborn by Claire Legrand has some of this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Maybe Fireborn by Rosaria Munda, like kind of feminist. I think it
But
counts.
is it about overthrowing the government?
Eventually. Kind of. It's complicated. Like there's like been a government that's been overthrown that supposedly was supposed to be less corrupt, but then you realize that maybe the current government
but I mean, like
the
guy who's considering overthrowing the government is a guy.
There's a group. I don't want to spoil things, so, but yeah, it has some of those elements eventually. Oh. There are a lot of those these days. So you can. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova also has this. Rebels, feminists with rebels trying to overthrow a corrupt government. Those were the ones I thought of. I feel like there should be others.
I feel like those themes should go hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you could say the Poppy War. It's pretty dark, though.
I don't know how feminist Rin is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He does some things that people outright call out as like anti-feminist.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, I don't know. Upright Women Wanted. Yeah. I don't know that they're exactly trying to overthrow it, but undermine it. Yeah.
I know you're not the biggest fan, but the Winter's Trilogy by Mary Rutkowski.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that fits.
Pastorals, definitely.
Yeah. It's another one of those series that I didn't dislike it. It was so hyped. And then I was like, this is fine. Like, I think that was kind of what it was. But yeah. Sword of Kagan.
I need to read that.
Everybody's been talking about it lately.
I was supposed to read it last month, but then I didn't.
Yeah. It happens. Yeah, I mean, could we say Red Rising?
Darrow is a he.
I mean, yeah, but like it's I feel like the approach to writing female characters is kind of feminist, and it's a book
Not
about
in the first
overthrowing
book, but-
governments. Yeah, but eventually. I don't know. Okay. The Princess Academy.
I mean,
from
okay,
Midway.
this is I feel like this is very loose, but can technically fit in the feminist overthrow.
Okay.
That's Cold by Joe Abercrombie.
Okay.
I mean,
The
it's
next
not.
book on my
We are
reading
over.
list for
It is
him.
corrupt people overthrowing a corrupt government, so it's not better, but it is a woman doing it.
Hey, we'll take it, I guess. Actually, the Daivabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty would count, I think, because it does end up being about like overthrowing corrupt government. It's a good one. Oh, thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad Leanna could join me too. I was like, this would be fun to do with somebody else.
I'm glad you let me join you.
Of course, always. Okay, we've got
Ember in the Ashes.
Oh yeah.
What's
That's
wrong with
right.
that?
Yes. Ember in
Duh.
the Ashes, of course. Oh my goodness.
What were we
See,
thinking?
I had a feeling there was something really obvious I was forgetting and I just couldn't figure out what it was. That's what it was. Yes. Yes. The Hunger Games. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, aren't we doing fantasy?
That's a
That's
throwback. Good point.
I don't remember. Wait,
Well-
was the question for fantasy, or was it just feminism overthrowing a government?
I don't remember because I've now deleted it because I'm deleting them as I go so that I don't lose. I had so many. We only have 3 left, and then we can take audience ones if we want.
The answer
Okay.
to all of them is the first law. But I mean, we can do the
I mean, I
question.
know you like. I know you like jokingly said that, but I was like, yeah, but like you read other things.
I was like, we can do this like Jeopardy, where I say the first law, and then you have to answer in the form of a question. What is the perfect book for blah blah blah? Well,
Oh man. Okay. Campy graphic novel. Because you're such
Campy
a big
graphic
graphic novel.
I just think of all graphic novels as being campy.
I
I know isn't true, but that's just how I think of them.
It's not. So for this, the 2 that I thought of were the Lumberjanes and the Adventure Zone graphic novels.
Oh, there was I Hate Fairyland.
Oh, okay. I haven't read that one, but
It's about a girl who's like supposed to do, she like falls into fairyland, and she's supposed to do this quest, and then she can get out of fairyland. It's supposed to take like a day, but it's like 30 years later, and she's still trying to do this quest thing so she can get out of fairyland.
I think that definitely counts. Yeah. I've only read like one installment of the Lumberjanes, but it felt like it had kind of a campy vibe to it. And then the Adventure Zone is like based on the podcast. Oh, yes, it is also literally campy because it's set at camp. Thank you. Yes.
Dad joke for the win.
I love it. But yeah, no, the Adventure Zone is like based on their podcast D&D stuff. I haven't actually listened to the podcast, but I read the first graphic novel and it was very funny, kind of campy. Okay, Naruto. A recommendation. If anybody else has other, I don't read that many. It looks campy. Fair enough. Yeah, I haven't read that many graphic novels, and I feel like most of the ones I've read I wouldn't describe as campy. So those were the only 2 that I could think of.
Same.
Yeah.
I gave you the one that I had.
Yeah. Maybe Paper Girls is a little campy, which is like a sci-fi sort of thing. We'll call that kind of campy. So yeah. Okay. I think that will do it for that. All right. Then for a more
I was like, right after I said the answer to everything is first law, you came up with the question that like literally in no universe could the answer be first law.
Yet he might come out with a graphic novel version of it.
There is a graphic novel version. It's out of print though. So it's costs like $1,000 to get a copy. But there was a graphic novel printing of the first law, and it did look kind of campy. So actually,
so if you are a rare book collector and you have $1,000,
you want to send it to me, feel free.
There you go. Oh man. Okay. Question: books with OCD representation.
We would see, like, that looks pretty campy, don't you think?
Yeah, that definitely looks campy. Yep. I feel like it would be, the thing is especially with first law, it would be hard to take the graphic version seriously because so much of it is like in people's heads. So like I could definitely see it be, yeah. Okay, so yeah, campy is a little hard to define, I guess, but
let's see what the internet says campy means.
Let's see what the internet calls it. It's like I know it when I see it.
Yeah, it's a vibe. In the style of camp. Well, thank you.
That's a very helpful definition.
It goes on to say absurdly exaggerated, artificial, or affected in a usually humorous way.
Yeah, yeah. Like things that are kind of over the top, like
but self-awarely so.
Yeah.
Like intentionally so.
Mm-hmm.
I would describe Riverdale as campy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that helps you guys. I think there's different ideas. O.C. Daniel.
Here's another definition, but this is more for style, but I think it applies to like campy vibe. Camp is an aesthetic style and sensibility that regards something as appealing because of its bad taste and ironic value.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think that, there's a lot of things. So it's, not camp setting, but
intentionally exaggerated,
over the top. Yeah, intentionally exaggerated and absurd, kind of like not taking itself too seriously.
Like Riverdale.
Like Riverdale, yeah. RuPaul's Drag Race. Okay, yeah, yes. Over the top, absurd, yet fun and these are all helpful definitions. So hopefully that helps. Like could be its a whole thing, but books with OCD representation. For this, I kind of looked up a few things. I had one thing that I thought of that I've read that's a fantasy, and then I like found a couple other books that apparently have it as well. But Before She Ignites by Jodi Meadows is like a fantasy with character who has OCD and anxiety, and I liked it. Other things I found were History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera, which I know is popular. I haven't read it, but that one of the main characters has OCD. And The Weight of Our Sky by Hannah Alkaf also. Okay, yeah, Turtles All the Way Down apparently has that as well. Tank Girl. I don't know if this is the campy graphic novel suggestion or if it's OCD, but
I wouldn't want to get them muddled.
No. Okay, Because We Are Bad, nonfiction memoir about a girl with OCD. Okay, cool, awesome. That's it. Oh, maybe I know that he has ADHD. I don't know if he has OCD as well, but I know he has ADHD. The main character in Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. That's a good one. Campy, The Adventures of Superhero Girl by Faith Erin Hicks. I haven't read it, but it does look campy, so that's fun. Cool. Okay. Can you think of anything on that or no?
I mean, I don't even know what it might be OCD. And I don't know if it's a good representation. I mean, Best Served Cold. One of the characters has something. He's obsessed with numbers, like literally obsessed with numbers. That's literally all he thinks about.
So maybe, yeah, that's interesting. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Sci-Fi, cool. Who in
Androids is OCD?
I don't know. It's very interesting. O.C. Daniel, middle grade. Okay, cool. Awesome. Great. All right. Last thing from social media that I have on the list. This is a very long list. Fun, sweet romance that's not Harlequin. So I don't know whether to interpret this as like sweet as in awe or sweet as in no sex. So I have two answers that each fit one of those.
As well.
Awesome.
Which is unexpected, okay. I know.
Okay. What are your answers?
For sweet as in awe, but with sex is Trick by Natalia Jaster. Okay. And sweet as in awe, but with no sex is Edenbrook.
Oh, that looks cute. Okay. Since I have romance right next to me, I can actually pull out my two recommendations.
I think I've recommended to you both of those before.
I think I have Trick on my TBR and have not gotten to read it, but I do own a copy of it.
I sent you a copy of Trick.
Did you?
I think so.
I bought, I don't know.
Or you bought it, but I definitely recommended it.
But you did recommend, yeah. Okay, somebody said A Sweet Mess by J.C. Lee. Nice. Isn't Decker's wife in Android's Dream of Electric from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
I mean, full disclosure, I've only seen like every version of Blade Runner there is, all the cuts, but I've never actually read the book. But I was trying to think who
the book might be different.
Yeah, but that's why I was curious to know who in the book is OCD. Yeah. I couldn't think of anyone that like might even be that way and not in the movie, you know? Like I couldn't picture Decker being OCD.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so sweet like awe, but with like some sex, not a ton, but some is Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend by Lucy Eden, which is very cute. They meet at a romance bookstore. It's very adorable and fluffy. Romance without sex is Aisha at Last by Uzma Jalaluddin, which is a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice with a Canadian Muslim main character. That was really good. So
I thought of a thing that I once again have not read, but when one of the ones was for queer sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
Crier's War by
Nina, yeah, I haven't read that one, but yeah.
Nina Varon? Nina something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Enemies to lovers during a war and the girl and guy have to fight. Oh wow. That would be that'd be intense. Yeah, Cerulean Sea does have sweet found family and romance.
Well, enemies to lovers where the girl and guy have to fight. You kind of get that in the Winter's trilogy by Mary Rutkowski.
You do, actually. That is true. Different sides of a war. No, that's a good recommendation for that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Also, the Daughter Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, those are good recommendations. There you go.
Look at me with my romance recommendations.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Okay, I have a couple, like, also for if you want like a series, a series of books that are good, and you don't want sex, you could try the Proper Romance books by Shadow Mountain Publishing. So I've read these two and I liked both of them pretty well. I think I liked this one better, but they're both good. Edenbrook is also, yeah. So like they put out, they also have contemporaries and stuff, but they do proper romances, which means like they don't have any sex scenes in them. So those might be good, and they're good. Yes, get it. It's cute. Oh, also actually Vanessa Riley, so like the Earl Girl and a Toddler, I think is her latest book. She writes really great historical representation or historical romances with Black characters, lots of interesting historical information, and they're closed door sex scenes. So like there's chemistry between the characters, but it all like sex scenes happen off page. So she's another good option. Sky in the Deep. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I guess so.
This is How You Lose a Time War would also fit for that. Cool. Okay.
You have a bit of that kind of in Red Rising. enemies to lovers who have
Yeah. Yeah.
a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, so I think we have now answered all of the questions that came in from social media, and it only took us an hour and 15 minutes. It's like people had a lot of requests. Do we want to take a couple more from the audience before we, like, I don't want to be on here super late, but
Oh, I forget. I always forget at the time.
Oh yeah,
it's
like,
7 o'clock.
You're like, I'm like, yeah, no, it's 10:15. But we could take like a couple from people watching. So if you guys have specific types of recommendations you're looking for, let us know, and I had time to actually research these other ones, so we'll have to see if we can do it off the cuff. I mean, you've been doing all of them off the cuff, so you know.
Unique arranged. Oh, Radiance.
Yes. Which I also have somewhere. Yeah, Radiance by Grace Draven. That's a good one. Yeah. Political arranged marriage. That's a really good one. I'm trying to think of like what else do I have? It's like an arranged. Okay, so kind of arranged, I guess. I don't know if arranged is the right, like marriage of convenience, I guess is more. But the Duchess deal by Tessa Dare has kind of a marriage of convenience, which is not totally the same thing, but I think it's a good similar, and I like it.
It is no Radiance, but it's okay.
No. Similar to Sarah J. Maas. So I guess we're thinking like, yeah, from Blood and Ash. Although I actually think Sarah J. Maas is better. Like,
I mean, I do too.
But yeah, I'm trying to think like if there's other stuff though that's like that kind of fantasy romance. I don't know. I have to think about that one.
I think there probably is, and I probably don't have recommendations. Oh yeah, Serpent and Dove. No.
Oh yeah, Serpent and Dove. Yeah.
Like thinking of books y'all made me read that I hated, so that I can be like, yeah, that one.
You're like, if you. Yeah, Extra Age is cute. Yes. Yay. I'm glad everybody's getting recommendations. Dragonfly by Julia Golding. Okay, cool. Forced proximity romance.
Entreat Me.
I haven't read that one yet. I know.
It's fine.
I know. This is why I like to prepare for these things, because I'm like the worst at coming up with the stuff on the fly when I can't like.
Yeah, well, this whole time I've just been like, I know, I'm so my head walking around looking at all my bookshelves.
I know, I'm so impressed. See, I don't have most of my books here. Forced Prox. I feel like I know I've read.
Governess Game by Tessa Dare.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. There's also the new Alyssa Cole book has forced proximity as well. Those are, yes. Winter's Orbit. Oh yeah, for a political arranged marriage. That's a good one, Beth. When Dimple Met Rishi. Oh yeah, that's another good one where it's like an attempted arranged marriage. Or bodyguard romance. What did I just read that's like? See, I'm trying to think. Like,
From Blood and Ash.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. It is a bodyguard romance.
Kind of diabolic.
Sort of, kinda. Yeah, Winter's Orbit for arranged marriage. Agreed. Underrated fantasy standalone. Look, you know what? This is not it, but like her first book, Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri. So underrated. It's amazing. Fantasy romance, super slow burn, great world building. Everybody should go.
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Okay. I'm trying to think like other underrated standalones.
Nothing's ever a standalone is the problem.
I know, it's rare.
Isn't Priory a standalone?
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Let's see. Books with sisterhood type friendship. Oh.
I don't think it's underrated. I think people do like it, but Spinning Silver.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Oh, somebody said already read it. Yes, Empire of Sand is great. I'm glad you liked it. Yay. Stolen Kingdom was a good standalone. Okay, cool. But books with sisterhood type friendships.
Six of Crows. What have we learned tonight?
Yeah.
Six of Crows.
Yeah. I think Sarah Morgan writes good books with good like family dynamics where there's romance, but a lot of times there's also like actual like close knit relationships between other people. Like her books generally tend to do that pretty well. Think about it. What has other good like strong friendships? See, this is like.
Well, I'm surprised you're not recommending right off the bat The Witchlands.
Oh yeah.
Who even are you?
You know what? It's because I moved my Witchlands books to my new bookshelf, and they're not sitting right there anymore.
I deserve some kind of award for this.
Witchlands, you do. That's true. No, the Witchlands is great for like strong female friendships.
You can get back at me by recommending Abercrombie before I think of it.
All those strong female friendships in Abercrombie.
There is some of that in the new trilogy.
Okay. Oh man. A real fortune teller told us we were getting married someday, but I hate you right now, Romeo. Oh, that is very specific. I don't know if I have one for
that. Not getting married and not exactly hate, but the beginning of the Raven cycle is kind of like that.
Oh yeah.
Because she gets told that she and Gainsey, and then she meets Gainsey and she's like, ugh.
Yeah. That's a good recommendation, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have not read this yet. So, Leanna, a series similar to The Conquerors.
There isn't. But I did recently, in reverse, I was saying that if you like Vasya from the Winter Night trilogy, that you'd like Lada from the Conquerors saga. So, like, the stories are incredibly different. But, like, the main character, if, like, that's the thing you liked so much, is, like, this fierce, independent, kind of aggressive main character.
I'm almost done. Finally.
I'm so proud of you. But yeah, so, like, I don't know which part of the Conquerors saga is appealing. Is it the retelling of history? Is it the character? Is it whatever? But if it's like Lada that you love, then try the Winter Night trilogy.
Yeah. I'm not sure what this was a recommendation for, but The Roommate.
Maybe Proximity, or
maybe Forced Proximity. It's Forced Proximity. Okay, cool. Master by Tamar Pierce, fantasy with romance subplot. Shipped. I've not read this one. Look, I couldn't tell you. The one that I read, I did not enjoy.
Well, in retrospect, I enjoyed it because I enjoyed it a lot more than the one we read. But what I didn't like about this one was kind of the barbarianness of it. But Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven.
Oh, yeah. I actually, yes, I liked that one much better. Yeah, no, but
I didn't love it because I was comparing it to my like adored Grace Draven books, and I was like, "This is no radiance. This is no intrigue."
No, yeah. But A Heart of Blood and Ash is a barbarian romance that people apparently really enjoy. I think it's just not my thing, so I'm not the right person to ask.
Seconded.
Yeah.
Logan and Pharaoh. That's a barbarian romance.
There you go. June. Benny Jesuit. That's funny. Strong sisterhood. Great. Actually, you know what though? That makes me think like Red Sister, Gray Sister, like those books have like some strong female relationships in them. I mean, there's some toxic ones also, but there are. I know you don't like them. I do.
I know. No comment.
You're hard to please, Leanna.
I acknowledge this. It's just as hard for me to please.
Oh yeah, A Court of Silver Flames. This is a good point. That actually has a good sisterhood relationships in it. That's a good recommendation.
There's some pretty good female relationships in the Witcher books.
Okay.
Also,
okay, we did
the Sword of Truth books.
Yeah. Those have some, yep. Fantasy with great politics. Yeah, Fireborn is great. This one, The Jasmine Throne, has great politics. First Law, yeah, First Law has a lot of politics in it. I love stuff. I mean, okay, this is not fantasy, but like there's a lot of political sci-fi. Like
Rising.
These books are great. Red Rising,
science fantasy,
and that science fantasy. Those are all good. Oh yeah, I'm excited to read this. So Many Beginnings. It's like a retelling of Little Women with a Black family.
For politics, the Farseer trilogy also.
Oh yeah.
And The Diabolic, which is more sci-fi, but
yeah. And like politics. Yeah. Oh, funny. She said she's currently reading this. I think this must have been when you recommended Bear and the Nightingale. She's currently reading it. So great. Fortune teller. Oh, that's funny. I love it. A thriller where the villain is someone taking revenge and the revenge gets out of control. Oh, yeah, that would probably be a spoiler. Good point. I don't know. A book similar to Where Dreams Descend. Oh, okay. So this is like dark fantasy romance. I'm gonna say it's not totally the same, but like Beyond the Black Door. I think if you really love Where Dreams Descend, you'll probably enjoy Beyond the Black Door.
That looks like Phantom of the Opera meets Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
I haven't read it, but
I really liked it. But like it's got similar vibes. I feel like people who enjoy Where Dreams Descend would probably also enjoy Beyond the Black Door as like a kind of darker fantasy romance thing. Fantasy standalone without romance.
Just fantasy standalone at all is hard with no limitations.
Yeah. I mean,
You gotta be here all night.
Fantasy standalone without any romance? Like,
I honestly, I can't even think of any fantasy standalones. Period. To even.
I can. I can think of fantasy. I can think of fantasy standalones, but they all have romance in them. Like 10,000 Doors of January, Empire of Sand. Jeez. Starless Sea, but that also kind of has romance. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Well, I mean, a lot of Gaiman. Gaiman doesn't really do much romance.
Good point. The Ocean at the End of the Lane.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good recommendation for that. Okay. Middle Eastern inspired fantasy.
Rain and Ruin.
Dive about it. Rain and Ruin. Yes. And I mean, I guess it's not really. Yeah. I mean, Tasha Suri's stuff is more like South Asian inspired, so it's not totally the same, but kind of similar. I feel like I'm forgetting something very obvious.
Per the usual.
Right now. Per the usual. It's getting late for me. I'm tired. like, I think I'm losing steam here. Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something really obvious with this, but I can't think of what it is. So, yeah. Oh, cool. I want to read Once and Future Wishes. Good to know. Good sisterhood. Okay. Second era, Mistborn. Yeah, Remote Control is definitely more sci-fi. House of Hollow. Yeah, it's more horror, but it has some fantasy elements. Yeah. Don't mind light romance. Okay, fair. I mean, 10,000 Doors of January is a standalone with light romance. Like, it's not a lot, but there's some.
Oh, and then there wasn't any romance in.
I just read. Okay, I just read a book that is a good recommendation for this. It's about to come out. Let me look at it so I get the title right. Okay, You're So Dead by Ash Parsons it's kind of like And Then There Were None meets like Knives Out or whatever, but with social media influencers, and it's YA at this island on an island at like something like the Fire Festival, sort of, if you guys know about that. But it has this trope, and it's like kind of like campy also. It's fun.
I'm surprised you're not recommending Gideon the Ninth.
Yes, also Gideon the Ninth.
But for a standalone fantasy with no romance, Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a good one.
Did it.
Anansi Boy. Yeah, Anansi Boys has more romance.
And I think that has more than American Gods.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's see what else. Romance where a betrayal, not cheating, is almost impossible to fix between characters. Slow burn, emotional, with lots of angst. Ooh.
The kind of thing that I'd be like, please no. My worst nightmare.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have anything I can, like, I actually did read something like this, Judging for the Vivians, but I can't talk about it. So, unfortunately, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've read that's kind of like this. I don't read as many like angsty
okay,
things.
Daughter Smoke and Bone.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that hurt. Many hurts. Mm-hmm. Oh God, that's painful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I can't think of anyone that fits that better than Daughter Smoke and Bone.
Yeah, no, that's a good.
That one is a knife right to the heart.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's something, and I just can't. I can't get it. So.
I just think it's also, I mean, Hakuna Matata being the username, someone wanting like an unfixable betrayal. You know, it means no worries. That's
a good point. Oh man. Yeah. 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 I do think stuff like that is interesting when you have like these big betrayals. I mean, Fireborn.
I've only read the first one.
Yeah, it's got some of that a little bit.
But I feel like there isn't a betrayal.
But there will be in book 2.
I read the Fireborn.
Standalone the Midnight Library. Okay, cool. An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lupina. And Then There Were None. Okay, cool. I haven't read that one. Awesome. Betrayal romance. The Duke and I. Oh, yeah. I did really love The Duke and I, even though it could have been handled somewhat better. So yeah. Yes. This is funny. You see right through it. Oh, that's funny. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, I feel like I am definitely losing steam because it is late for me. So I think I'm going to call an end to this. But this was really fun. Thank you for joining me. And thanks for all your questions, everybody. Hopefully you have gained many new books to go check out with all of these recommendations.
The whole first last series. That's like so many books right there.
Yeah, it's so many. Oh yeah, One by One is similar to that. Yeah, that's a good recommendation to you, Trina. Yep. Cool. Well, have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.